Okay, good afternoon everyone. Today we're going to learn how to make pizza dough, and I'm going to show you how to make pizza dough that you can make for home. I've got only a small amount of ingredients here. When we make it for the restaurant, it's like 10 times this. So we're going to start off by showing you how to put the ingredients together, and then how to make them ingredients into the pizza dough, and then I'm going to show you how to make the pizza dough into pizza balls, and then I'll show you how to make the balls stretch out into pizza bases. We're going to do this process by hand. Normally I would never do it by hand. I'm too lazy, I don't have enough time. So I'm going to do the first part of it by hand, and then I'm going to finish it off in this food mixer, on which we have a kneading hook. So this is a home one. This is my one from home. This isn't the one we use at the restaurant. So you may have one of these at home. They come with a hook, so you may want to just throw it in there, let the machine do the job. Anyway, let's get started. Let's get started with the basic ingredients. This is to make, how many? 10 pizza balls. Once again, a small amount compared to what we normally make. You've got, what we got there? 1 litre, and we've got 1 litre of cold water. It can't be room temperature or warm, because it will heat up in the mixing process. So you want to have it cold straight out the tap. 1 litre of water. We've got 1,680 grams of flour. That's 1.68 kilos, or 1,680 grams of 00 flour. I know that you can use all-purpose flour from the supermarket, and it will work just fine, but we use 00 Italian Caputo flour. Next up, what we've got is the yeast. We use fresh live yeast. You can use dry. If you use dry, you have to use half the amount. So we've got 2 grams of fresh yeast, and in here the recipe says 45 grams of salt. I like my food a bit saltier. I'm using 50 grams. I would even go to 55 personally, but for you, you might want to start at 45 grams, and you can go from there. For those of you that already know how to make pizza and you want to just use my pizza recipe, I'm going to show you it now, and then you can skip the rest of this video and you can go straight on to making your own pizza dough. So I've given it to you here. It's to make 5 balls. Here we are. And then you've got 10 balls, 20 balls, 40 balls, and 50 balls. We make 50 at a time, so we do not use this, we use this absolute monster of a pizza making machine. Let me put this camera back, and then we'll move on to the process. Alright, here we go. And one thing to remember very importantly is ingredients need to be mixed in a certain order. I'll explain why as we go. So let's start off with the water. And then what we're going to do is we're going to mix in all of the yeast. So try and crumble it in as much as you can. Right. Go. Get that yeast all mixed about into the water. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add half of the flour. Okay, and this is where we're going to get our hands dirty. Here we go. Okay, so we leave the flour and we don't add the salt. The reason we don't add the salt, and I'm no scientist, but by all accounts, the harshness of the salt, the saltiness of the salt, the something of the salt, gets in the way of the flour and the yeast combining, and it keeps them separated. So the idea is you add the salt at a little bit of a later point in the process. Okay. So this might take a little bit of time to mix together. It feels quite nice on my hands. You can see that by doing it by hand is actually quite a messy process. What you could have done if you had a home blender, put the water in, put the yeast in, start the mixer going, then after it's kind of mixed, then you can add half the flour, keep it going, and then once it looks like it's all mixed together, like this, at that point is when you add all of the salt, but not before. Okay, make sure to scrape it all off the bottom, scrape it all off of the edges, and we're getting a really nice kind of, well, very sticky substance. But we're working. Oh, I think I lost some. Okay, here we go. 45 grams of salt going in. And now the rest of the flour. In it goes. I'll tell you a secret. I've never done this by hand. This is going to take a while, so I'm probably going to clip this video. I need to hurry the sequence up a little bit. So you're going to see little jumps where we clip from one to the other. Just keep on turning the dough into itself. And eventually what will happen is you will pick up all of the flour around the tray, and the tray will look fairly clean, and you can keep kneading it into itself. Alright. Get that there. Okay. Let's get this shoulder load. Okay, I'm warming up. I'm warming up faster than the dough. But it's coming smoother and smoother and smoother the more I do this. So, I'm quite liking it. What you'll note is, if you use the recipe that I showed you behind me, it's exactly multiplied or divided by the one before. So, for example, the 5 balls is times by 2 every ingredient to make your 10 balls. The 10 balls, every ingredient times by 2 to make your 20, times by 2 again to make your 40. You can imagine I had to mess around to do the 50. I've messed about with this recipe a lot to try and get it correct. I've had it too wet, too dry, too sticky. I've had it too warm, too cold. I've had it not proofed for long enough. This recipe should be as close to perfect as you're going to need, and as close to simple, so that everyone can do it. One of the things I've noticed about pizza dough is that old pizza dough is the best pizza dough. We'll do maybe 50, 60 balls ready for Sunday on Saturday night. We may have some balls left over from Saturday, so say we go into Sunday with 80 balls of pizza, and we might sell only 60 throughout the day. Sunday night they'll go back in the fridge, covered up and back in the fridge, and they will stay there until Tuesday, because we don't open on Monday. And I tell you what, the pizzas on Tuesday here are the best pizzas. This ball is coming together nicely. One of the things I'm noticing though is it's a little bit lumpy, just a touch, and a little bit marked, like pot marked on it. If you do it in the machine, really good at it, it comes out far smoother, and you will definitely get a better mix. But on the whole, this is going really well, and I'm very happy with it. And it's going to need, after we've finished kneading it, it's going to need around 7-8 hours of proofing time. Your best bet is to make it the day before. Pop it in the fridge overnight and bring it out in the morning and let it stand all throughout the day in order to ferment. And then it'll be ready to use by the evening. Okay. I think this is a pretty good, make sure it's sealed at the bottom, get it into a nice ball. Beautiful. Okay, that is absolutely fantastic. Now, and what we're going to do is, we're going to take something like this, we're going to pop it over the top, and we're going to leave it for 1 hour to stand. And then after that 1 hour, we can portion it out into our balls. Okay, see you in an hour. All right, so it's been about 1 hour, and let's have a look, see what we got here. The dough's been resting for 1 hour, helping it to ferment, I think is the word. Okay, oh, it's got a bit bigger. Lovely. Okay, here we go. Here's the dough, very nice. You can tell that the dough's good because when you press your finger into it, it bounces back. Very slowly, it will start to bounce back, and it won't stick to your finger much. Okay, so that is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Now what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to make this dough into the dough balls that then will become your pizza. Okay, so obviously we're going for round pizzas, and so we want the dough balls to be round because to press a circle out into a larger round shape is obviously easier. So we're always going for circles. So let's stretch our ball out just a little, yeah? So it's not looking like a ball anymore. There's a reason for this. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to make a snake. And we use a wallpaper scraper. It's never been used to scrape wallpaper, so don't worry. And we're going to make our snake. So I can take this, and I'm only going to make 2 snakes. Yeah. I'm going to need something to put it in, and right here. And this is how we do. We have the snake. How can I explain this? We're going to take the dough and we're going to roll it up inside by tucking it just underneath each other. Yeah? And I'm getting, if you can see that, I'm getting some form of ball as I roll it up and I tuck the excess underneath. Okay, now I want my dough ball to weigh around 260 grams. You can do it bigger, but we do 12-inch pizza and we want 260 grams. So I take my hand, and I understand, just because I've been doing it a while, once I've rolled my ball up and I've tucked the excess underneath and I hold the ball in my hand, about that I know is around 260 grams. So I take the neck, I squeeze it with my other hand, I break it off, I tuck the bottom in, and there I have a perfectly round ball. Okay, the bit that's been tucked in on the bottom, that must go to the bottom, okay, because we want it to seal into a perfect ball. Now let me have a look at how much this ball weighs, see if I am anywhere close to being correct. Okie dokie. Here we go. Oh, hold on. That is 262 grams. So for some of you, it won't be that easy because you will not have done it before. Okay, so here we go.
As you watch, I roll it up into a ball, put it in my hand, take the neck, squeeze the neck, pull the ball up into a ball. 248 grams. I don't mind a smaller ball, I can stretch them out, I'm quite good at stretching them out, so it's fine for me to have a slightly thinner base. I actually quite like it. 234, that is not good. And another 20, 254. Tuck it into the bottom of that ball. Right, jump it. Hold it up there. 318. So this is what you do if you get a ball and that is a bit too big. Okay, so say you make your ball, tuck it at the bottom, there you go. Make it into a nice ball shape. I put it on the scale, I can see 317 grams. Take that, a little bit off, cut the edges, still maintaining its roundness. 284, a bit more off. I reckon this is it. 272, off we go. 264, I'll take that. Start with the next snake. There you go, 257. Go. 281, a little bit big. Take a little off of that. 275, little off of that. 250, happy with that. What have we got here?
Nice. 252, no problem. And I haven't quite got enough for the 10th ball. So you could make a mini pizza or maybe a mini garlic bread or something like that. Let's get that into a ball. 160, so that will make me a little mini garlic bread. Okay, so that there is how you make the dough balls. Remember, leave your dough for 1 hour. Oops, leave your dough for an hour, then move it into a long snake-like shape. Cut a smaller snake off, roll it into balls in your hand, squeeze the neck, pull the ball off, get it to around 260 grams, and there you have it. Now what you're going to want to do is leave these balls for around, it's about 8 hours in total. You've already left it for 1 hour, so you're going to want another 6 to 7 hours, somewhere fairly warm, to let the yeast do its job, combine with the protein in the flour and grow the ball so it's manageable. Make sure you cover them up. Here's what we're going to do. One thing you don't want to do is let the cling film touch the top of the balls, because it will stick and you have a nightmare getting it off. So what you would do now is you would leave these balls for 7 hours to grow. The thing is that unless you're doing it on the weekend, are you really going to have enough time to get up in the morning, do this before you go off to work? You're probably not. So here's what I would do. I would go through this entire process the night before. I would take these trays and I would put them in the fridge. Before you leave the house for work in the morning or perhaps the school run, take them out of the fridge. And at that point, they're going to start their 6, 7, even if it's 8, 9, 10 hours. The longer they grow, in my opinion, the better it is. So this takes us up to the point of the balls. I'm going to come back in a while and I'm going to show you how to open the balls. I'm not going to use these because they're not going to be ready. I have some already that we made last night, and very shortly I'm going to show you how to open it and make a pizza.